The signal came through the static like a whisper from the void. Captain Marcus Cole leaned forward in his pilot's seat aboard the small cargo vessel named Wanderer. He had been drifting through the outer reaches of the Valoran system for 3 days now, running low on fuel and even lower on hope. The job that brought him here had fallen through. The contact never showed. Now he was just another human trying to survive in a galaxy that did not care much for his kind. Humans were still new to the galactic community. Only 40 years had passed since first contact. The older species looked at humanity the way adults look at children playing with dangerous toys. They tolerated human presence, but never truly welcomed it. Humans were considered primitive, emotional, and reckless. Most species avoided hiring human crews for important work. Marcus had learned to survive anyway. He took the jobs nobody else wanted. He flew to places nobody else would go. He had nothing left to lose. The signal repeated itself. It was not a standard distress call. The frequency was ancient, something from the old Valoran archives. Marcus recognized it only because he had spent years studying alien cultures. The signal translated roughly to a single desperate plea. "Help me. Someone please help me." He traced the source to a moon orbiting the gas giant ahead. The moon was called Thornaka in the old maps. It had been abandoned for centuries after some disaster nobody remembered anymore. There was no reason for anyone to be there. Marcus knew he should ignore it. He had barely enough fuel to reach the nearest station. Going to Thornaka would mean risking everything on a signal that might be nothing more than an old automated loop. But the voice in the signal sounded real. It sounded afraid. He changed course. The descent through Thornaka's atmosphere was rough. The old moon still had breathable air, but violent storms covered most of its surface. Marcus fought the controls as wind battered his ship. Lightning cracked across the darkness outside his viewport. He followed the signal deeper into the chaos. Then he saw it. A tower rose from the center of a dead city. It climbed impossibly high into the storm clouds, its surface made of some black metal that reflected the lightning in strange ways. The structure looked alien in a way that made Marcus uncomfortable. It did not follow any architectural style he recognized. It seemed wrong, like something that should not exist. Coiled around the tower was a creature. Marcus had seen many strange things in his travels. He had encountered species with bodies made of living crystal. He had spoken with beings that existed as clouds of sentient gas. Nothing prepared him for what wrapped itself around that tower. It was a serpent made of fire. Its body stretched hundreds of meters long, scales burning with actual flames that somehow did not consume it. Its eyes glowed like twin suns as it turned its massive head toward his approaching ship. Heat radiated from it so intensely that Marcus could feel it through the hull. The creature opened its mouth and screamed. The sound was not physical. It struck Marcus directly in his mind, a psychic assault that nearly knocked him unconscious. Images flooded his thoughts, warnings, threats, commands to turn back. Most pilots would have obeyed. The fire serpent was clearly beyond anything human technology could challenge. It was a creature from legend, a monster that belonged in stories told to frighten children. Marcus kept flying forward. Near the top of the tower, he saw movement behind a window. A figure pressed against the glass. Even from this distance, he could tell it was humanoid. The figure was waving desperately, trying to get his attention. The signal had come from there. Marcus scanned the tower and found a landing platform near the top, just below where the serpent's body coiled most tightly. Getting there would mean flying directly past the creature. It was suicide. Any rational being would know that. But humans were not always rational. That was what the other species never understood about them. Humans did not calculate odds the same way. When humans saw someone in trouble, something inside them simply refused to look away. He pushed the engines to full power. The fire serpent struck at him immediately. A blast of white-hot flame shot toward the Wanderer. Marcus rolled hard to the left, feeling the heat sear past his hull. Warning alarms screamed throughout the cockpit. The ship's exterior temperature rose dangerously high. He kept going. Another blast came from the right. Marcus dove beneath it, then pulled up sharply to avoid a third attack. The serpent's body shifted around the tower, trying to block his path. Its movements were fast, far faster than something that Psi should be able to move. Marcus was faster. He had been flying since he was 15 years old. He had outrun pirates through asteroid fields. He had navigated collapsing wormholes. He had landed ships in conditions that automated systems said were impossible. Flying was not just his job. It was his language, his art, his religion. The fire serpent could not catch him. He slipped through a gap between two coils of the creature's body, feeling the heat wash over his ship like water. The landing platform appeared ahead. He cut the engines at the last possible second and dropped onto the surface hard enough to buckle the landing struts. Marcus grabbed his weapon and his environmental suit. He did not know what waited inside that tower, but he was going to find out. The door to the tower was sealed with technology far beyond human understanding. Marcus did not try to understand it. He simply placed an explosive charge and stepped back. The blast tore the door open, revealing a corridor that stretched into darkness. He ran inside. The interior of the tower hummed with strange energy. The walls pulsed with light that seemed almost alive. Marcus ignored all of it. He followed the signal, climbing stairs that spiraled upward through the structure. The fire serpent's presence pressed against his mind. It was trying to invade his thoughts, trying to make him turn back. The psychic assault was overwhelming. Marcus felt his vision blur. His legs wanted to stop moving. He thought about the figure in the window. Someone was counting on him. He kept climbing. The door at the top of the stairs was smaller than the others. It opened when Marcus approached, as if recognizing him somehow. He stepped through and found himself in a chamber that took his breath away. The room was filled with stars. Not images of stars, but actual stars, floating in miniature form throughout the space. They drifted past Marcus like fireflies made of light. In the center of the room, surrounded by this impossible display, stood the source of the signal. She was Valoran royalty. Marcus recognized the markings on her skin, the elegant shape of her features. The Valorans were one of the oldest species in the galaxy. They had built empires when humans were still discovering fire. Their princess had been missing for over 200 years, taken by forces unknown. She looked at Marcus with eyes that held centuries of despair. Her voice was weak when she spoke. "You came. Someone actually came." Marcus holstered his weapon. He tried to smile, though he was not sure his face remembered how. "I heard you calling." "I came to help." The princess shook her head. She pointed toward the window where the fire serpent's eye now watched them both. "That creature is called the Eternal Flame. It was created by my enemies to guard me here forever. No one in the galaxy has the power to defeat it. I have watched ships try for 200 years. They all burned." Marcus looked at the monster outside. It was ancient, powerful, and utterly beyond his ability to fight. He knew that. He also knew it did not matter. "I am not here to fight it," he said. "I am here to get you out." He explained his plan quickly. The fire serpent could not leave the tower. It was bound to guard this place specifically. If they could reach his ship and break atmosphere fast enough, the creature would not be able to follow. The princess stared at him as if he had gone mad. "Your ship is too damaged. The serpent will destroy it before you reach space." Probably, Marcus agreed. But probably is not definitely. That is insane. He grinned at her. "I am human. We specialize in insane." They ran together through the tower. The fire serpent sensed their escape and went berserk. Its flames beat against the walls of the structure. The entire building shook with its rage. The psychic assault intensified until Marcus could barely see straight. He did not stop. Neither did the princess. They burst onto the landing platform. The Wanderer sat waiting, scorched and battered, but still intact. Marcus pulled the princess aboard and threw himself into the pilot's seat. The fire serpent reared back, preparing to unleash everything it had. Marcus launched the ship straight toward the creature. For one terrifying moment, they were directly in its path. The serpent's mouth opened. Marcus could see the flames building in its throat. Death was seconds away. He dove beneath the creature at the last instant, skimming so close to its burning scales that the hull turned red. Then he pulled up hard, angling toward the sky. The serpent struck at them, but its aim was wrong. The flames passed harmlessly behind them. They broke atmosphere. The moon fell away beneath them. The fire serpent screamed its fury into the void, but it could not follow. The princess sat in the co-pilot's seat, tears streaming down her face. She had not cried in 200 years. She had forgotten how. "Why did you come?" she asked. "You did not know me. You had no reason to risk your life." Marcus thought about her question. He thought about all the times humans had been told they were too young, too primitive, too reckless to matter. He thought about the way the galaxy looked down on his species. Then he shrugged. "I heard someone screaming for help. That was enough." The princess watched him for a long moment. She had met countless species throughout her long life. She had known warriors and scholars and kings. None of them had done what this human just did. She smiled for the first time in centuries. "Perhaps," she said quietly, "the galaxy has underestimated your kind." Marcus laughed. "We get that a lot." The Wanderer disappeared into the stars, carrying its passengers toward whatever came next. Behind them, the fire serpent coiled around its empty tower, waiting for prisoners that would never return. The galaxy would hear about what happened on Thornaka. The story would spread from station to station, world to world. It would become legend. A human pilot flying a broken ship, rescuing a lost princess from an ancient monster. And slowly, the other species would begin to understand something important. Humans were not just survivors. They were not just reckless fools who stumbled through the universe by accident. They were the ones who answered when someone screamed for help. They were the ones who flew toward the fire. And they would never, ever stop.